Hello? Today, you will hear a story about a man's revenge. As children, we all rejoiced at the appearance of new gadgets in our lives. A new and improved mobile phone, a more powerful computer, the latest version of a new game console. Such innovations were clearly remembered by pleasant emotions. I have had a passion for camera since childhood. I have always wanted to capture the best moments of life and do it in the best possible way. Therefore, I have always been attracted to photography and video equipment. I skillfully applied new technological possibilities to create wonderful photos. I like to take various photographs, and with this, my subsequent life was direct. I noticed very interesting things in the world around me. This beauty was nearby all around us, but few people noticed it, and I knew how to distinguish it from the background of other things. Therefore, my pictures were filled with life. They revealed the essence of the moment that I saw. After graduation, I tried to make money with my hobby. Initially, I worked as a photographer at various events. It didn't bring much income, but I did what I loved. I wanted to develop, but I had to pay bills. The money was needed here and now, so I had practically no time for creative impulses. I tried to find a job that would bring me a normal, stable income. And one day, I was offered a job in a serious news organization. I got a job as an operator. It was very interesting. The work gave me pleasure, but most of all I liked Natalia, the host on a popular channel. She always looked spectacular and was an extraordinary girl for me. But I was afraid to even think that I could be with her together. I was a simple operator and nothing more, and she was already a screen star then. But I often worked with her together, and somehow I plucked up the courage and approached her with an offer to drink a cup of coffee. She looked at me with a smile and, much to my surprise, agreed. I was overwhelmed with emotion. I did not expect her to agree at all. I thought that she would send me to hell. But no, we met in the evening in a cafe near our place of work. She was very pleasant to talk to. I also tried to be an interesting conversationalist, and we have a good relationship. Date after date, we started dating. I was extremely happy that this wonderful girl appeared in my life. Time flew by quickly, and before I could look back, 10 years had already passed since we got married. We had 2 children, 2 wonderful girls. Natalia still worked as a news anchor on the channel, and I still worked as an operator. I had some thoughts about another job, but now it was not up to that. Natalia spent quite a lot of time at work, so for the most part, one had to look after the girls. Our family was happy, especially those days when we managed to be all together without any work commitments. We loved having picnics outside. Once I found an amazing place in the forest, not far from our house. It was incredibly beautiful here, and it became our favorite place. Everything was fine until the moment when I began to notice how Natalia was moving away from me. I tried to make romantic surprises, but it did not please her very much. She came home later and later and hardly spoke to me. I repeatedly tried to talk to her to find out what was the matter. But she asked me not to worry. She was very tired at work, so she behaved like that. But at the same time, she said that she loved me very much and could not live without me. I willingly believed her, understood that her work was very difficult, and tried to support her in every possible way. But over time, it didn't get better. Natalia moved away not only from me, but also from the children. I felt that something was going on, but I couldn't figure out what it was. It was just terrible. Thoughts pressed on me every day more and more. I needed to understand everything to understand what was happening. On this day, I decided to stay at work, ask the nanny to look after the little ones, and I myself went up to Natalia and said goodbye, saying that I would wait for her at home. Natalia said that she would try to arrive early today. But I stayed in the building, decided to observe what my wife was doing so important and serious at such a late hour. On the set, the staff was still spinning. Equipment was cleaned and floors were swept. At the table, I saw my wife talking nicely with the host, whose name was Mark. I never liked this guy. He was very sugary. He always teased me and taught me how to do my job better. He started working for us relatively recently. In general, a rather nasty guy. But he communicated well with Natalia. I even noticed some notes of flirting. During the usual time when I was at work, I did not see such kind communication between them. This started to piss me off immensely. I wanted to spit in his face, but I knew that I would only make things worse for myself. Soon, there was practically number one left in the room. The guard was making his last round after the staff had left. This couple has disappeared. I got nervous. Did I miss them? Where could they go? I quietly walked over to the window that overlooked the parking lot. Pulling back the blinds, I saw that their cars were still parked outside the building. But where were they? I began to comb the rooms up and down, trying not to stumble upon a guard so that there would be no unnecessary questions. Suddenly, on one floor, I came across an office where the light was on. The door was locked and there was no way I could get in. I knew every corner of this building well. There was an adjoining room that was connected to this office by a large interior window. This room was not locked and I went inside. What I saw behind the glass shocked me. My wife was having sex with this scandal with might and main. It was very dirty. They changed position after position. Natalia moaned and asked not to stop. I was in despair. I couldn't break into them to stop it. There was filming equipment in my room. I don't know what made me, but I turned on the recording of what was happening outside the window. It was incredibly painful for me to watch this. Soon it was all over, and they began to discuss their future plans. Mark mockingly spoke about me, said all sorts of nasty things, but Natalia did not try to object. She herself began to say how I and the children got her. She did not want to return to our home, but she did not want to tell me the truth either. I was in shock with shaking hands. I took the memory card from the camera and went outside. I needed fresh air. I was just out of breath. Thoughts were confused. I did not understand what to do next. I wanted to scream, realizing that I had been betrayed. A loved one just stuck a knife in my back like that. They tumbled at work while I babysat the kids at home and waited for my wife to come home. Soon the thought came to me that I should take revenge. I would not allow anyone to treat myself and my children this way, even if it was my own wife. Natalia returned home even later than usual. I tried my best not to give myself away and restrained my emotions. My lying wife behaved as if nothing had happened. I looked at her and it dawned on me how vile and cynical a creature she was, who absolutely did not care about her own family. I was very uneasy to be near her, but fortunately, for a long time and did not happen. I already had a plan for revenge. I knew what to do to make these two-faced bastards pay for everything. I didn't want to talk to Natalia. She wouldn't tell me anything new. She would start her usual story. How much she loves me and that she can't live without me. If I heard that again, I would definitely strangle her. On the spot. It was a typical morning that I started with a cup of hot coffee, just like I always did before heading to work. The office was already in full swing. Everyone was bustling about their worries. Broadcast coming soon. A report was being prepared for this issue from the opening of a new orphanage. It was necessary to describe this event in all its glory. Ma personally instructed our department to do this work with the highest quality because it was to his advantage on the eve of the new elections. Therefore, everything was carefully prepared. Makeup artists were already preparing Natalia and Mark while I stood rooted to the spot near the broadcast cameras. And then the live broadcast began. The smiles of the presenters blurred in an artificial way and they began to talk about this orphanage. Soon they were supposed to turn on the video of the report, filmed in advance, but instead the video turned on the video of my wife's infidelity. I set it up in advance. It was not a big deal for me. The hosts did not understand why everyone around began to fuss. There were screams for it to be turned off immediately. Soon these freaks themselves saw themselves on the screens in all their glory. I stood and looked at my wife. She was absolutely not the one I fell in love with. What a pity that I found out so late. Mark saw me and ran up to me with some ridiculous explanations that this was some kind of montage. In response, he received a clear blow to the teeth. I went up to my wife and said that she would not have to come home anymore. Number one was waiting for her there anymore. After this scandalous incident, the careers of Natalia and Mark were over. They were kicked out in disgrace. In court, I managed to keep custody of my girls, and this gum was deprived of parental rights. Now I was free from lies. You could do other things. I left my previous job. I was disgusted to be there even after this couple was fired. I opened my own business, which I had long dreamed of, and things went uphill for me. Now I had enough money to secure the future of my little ones, and I myself enjoyed the fact that I was able to take revenge on the traitors. I knew that everything would be fine. Dear listeners, your support is very important to us. If you like our story, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's very motivating for us. We need your feedback to improve our